Onur. Thank you, Governor. We are waiting for another honorable guest with his visionary perspective. We have the Vice President of the Republic of Turkey, Cevdet Yilmaz. Please, sir, join me on stage for your inaugural speech. Welcome. Geothermal investors, distinguished head of the association, members of the association of Cemiyat, distinguished minister, MPs, mayors, governor, of course, representatives of government bodies and NGOs and private establishments, members of the academia, dear guests coming from other countries, you're most welcome, and we're happy to have you. Cemiyat, Geothermal Investors Association, is the leading engine of this event, International Geothermal Investment Summit, İGİS. That's what brings us to this beautiful province of Nevşehir, to Cappadocia. Cappadocia means the land of beautiful horses, by the way, and I am happy to be here with you, share this day with you here today. Geothermal sector, the opportunities, the importance, of course, are non-negotiable. But as the speakers before me have emphasized, geothermal power is not just about geothermal power, it's not just about energy, and it's a wide range of activities, of use, areas of use, actually. I mean, I consider this to animals, let's say to livestock. I mean, you can make use of everything, use the horns, the skin, the meat, the fat, and the innards, everything, just like geothermal. Geothermal taps into from many sectors, from energy to tourism to health, from mining and minerals to processing of those minerals to agriculture, greenhouses, so whatnot. There are uses. I mean, it's the kind of resource that has many uses in many fields at different values, different degrees. The same water, just heat it up and cool it down. You can use it in a plethora of areas, which is God-given, I believe. I mean, there's this chance to make use of this resource in many, many areas. That's what I call God-given. It's a resource. It can be recovered, renewed. I mean, if you're smart enough, if you use it the right way, you just don't use it and dump it. You can use it over and over and over and over again. That's the kind of resources. Is what one caveat. As long as we're smart. If we are not, I mean, re-injections and other technologies, for example, I mean, if we don't use those technologies, then it loses its renewable character, I'm sorry, then you start depleting this resource, but not use it sustainably, and that's what matters, to be able to use this resource, such a beautiful resource, sustainably. And I hope this event today will be a trailblazer event where we will come up with different ideas and a different understanding of the matter, if you like. So we need a holistic approach. I mean, let me say the last thing first. We need this holistic perspective, holistic approach on geothermal, which would be focusing, standing on one pillar, only sustainability. What I mean is, when I say holistic, it does not involve the Ministry of Energy, but should include many energies, ministries of health, industry and technology, energy and environment. I mean, all the players should get together, and all the players, also public, private, NGOs, local administrations, local governments, academia, for example. I mean, that's the kind of holistic approach that this geothermal issue requires. All the regulations, all the incentives, all the planning activities, everything should be shaped along those lines with such a mindset, I believe, holistic. Distinguished guests, increasing population, industrialization, the changes and upward trend in living standards and quality of life, these are all multipliers of the energy demand, global energy demand. Fossil fuels are high costs, carbon emissions, greenhouse emissions, and everything, put them in the mix, it translates into an increased, multiplied requirement for electrical power. Power not just from fossil fuels. In the upcoming 10 years, for example, electric demand will increase 3.5% by 3.5%, and newly, with the introduction of data centers, new technologies like AI, for example, will also multiply our need for electrical power. So we are already looking for other resources. I mean, not to mention increased generation of electrical power, but also increased generation of electric power, increasingly by renewable resources, which makes us look in under the ground also with geothermal resources, which can also be used to generate electrical power. That's a renewable resource. I mean, as long as we're smart, using that smartly. And in comparison to wind and solar, geothermal has another upside. It's there 24/7 and in all climes and in all climatic conditions. So this can directly contribute to your electric bases or base electric power, and it also creates new ground for other renewable use of other renewables resources. It's a renewable resource. It's a sustainable, but stable resource, from industry to agriculture, from generation of electricity, tourism and health. We've just talked about those sectors: residential heating, greenhouses, urban scale systems, so industrial processes everywhere. There's a wide range of varieties and solutions that geothermal comes up with. Also, thanks to reduced carbon emissions, it has lesser impacts or repercussions on and has great contributions to combating climate change, efforts to combat climate change. I mean, just like the rest of the world, we have set our targets for the future world. Developed countries seek to reduce what they have. Developing countries focus on a reduction from the increasing applications. We are in the second group of nations, and we have made certain commitments that we will live up to. And of course, the responsibility of polluters actually, I mean, developed nations, is bigger, but unfortunately they have not been doing much, and the rest of the world was paying for their sins, let's say, sins meaning use of fossil fuels, but they have developed using fossil fuels. Now it's become all our problem. So now the time has come for us to take on our responsibilities, each our own responsibilities. Developing economies should be backed up with finances, funding, and technology so that we can catch up. Developing nations can catch up and contribute to the efforts of the rest of the world. So we have to live up to our commitments. But Turkey is located so luckily, I mean, in terms of, well, from a macroeconomic perspective, Turkey has a current deficit, which arises mostly from commodities, starting with oil, for example. So green transformation targets, when Turkey achieves those goals and commitments, will also be able to use energy more efficiently, and will be able to increase the share of local, domestic, and renewable energy, which will translate into lower current deficit. So green transformation is critical in terms of Turkey's macroeconomics. It will reduce the requirement, and also multiply the competitive power of the private sector, because when you make best use and efficient use of renewable energies, it will translate into reduced power costs, that hence competitive power. So it's good for businesses, it's good for the national economy. Sometimes I hear people debating about certain costs. For example, I mean, our climate law is at the parliament now, and certain issues, that's why I say costs, I mean, things that the law does not have, people debate about those provisions. I mean, the climate law is focused on what I've been emphasizing till now. competitive power, economy, current deficit, reduce foreign dependency, macroeconomics, and national stability. That's what the law will serve for. And in Europe now there is the border carbon limit regulation. So if we cannot establish this carbon trade system, national carbon trade system, that will translate into more taxes to be paid into Europe if we can reduce those amounts. And this is the regulation, the best part of the climate law. We are establishing this emission trade system, for example, and once that is in place, all those taxes will not flow into Turkey, but there will be this fund pooling those taxes, which will be reused for transformation of industry and businesses. So that's the kind of arrangement in the climate law. That's our game plan with the law. So I don't know why the public is prevented from seeing that. Anyway, we have a saying I remember about people speaking out their mind without any information. They are the ones they're played. They don't know, but they believe. So I ask you kindly, please just check the details of the law. Just don't delve into debates without knowing what's in the law. Of course, you might find things to criticize. You're free. But please read it. See what's in the content. But don't let your perception to be played with. I'm sorry, it was a parenthesis, maybe an extensive one, but I close it now. Distinguished participants, there's a global appetite growing for geothermal, and geothermal is becoming or having a stronger foothold among renewable energy resources. As of 2024, the installed capacity has reached 17,000 megawatts, 17 gigawatts. And the IEA estimates tell us for the upcoming 25 years, geothermal renewable energy share in global renewable energy share is 0.5% today, and it will increase to between 3 to 5%. So, the power cake will get bigger, and geothermal share will also increase significantly from 0.5% to 3 to 5%. So it's a great transformation. Existing capacity, most of the existing capacity is in the US, Indonesia, and the Philippines. And Turkey will also join the bandwagon. Ömer was saying that, the head of association was saying that Turkey ranks the fourth now in global ranking, geothermal ranking. The studies that we carried out, 1,753 megawatts, current number can be increased up to 40,000 plus megawatts, which is quite important. This is all year long, all year round, incessant, unwavering, and oscillating energy resource. It's better than wind, it's better than solar. Not to mention the rest. It's a great renewable energy resource. It is. Today, we have commissioned the 66th geothermal power plant. We are ranking first in Europe and fourth in the world, but it's not enough. We need a leap, we need a stride. With 150 main suppliers and 350 secondary generators, we got this ecosystem employing somewhere about 50,000 individuals, and geothermal plants also work with 25% domesticity. The UPS devices, power electronics, gas turbines, exhaust systems, oiling systems, lubrication systems, speed control systems, and steam injectors, and many other appliances can be produced domestically by 25%. they are being applied out there in the industries. And also geothermal resources are now, as we speak, are being used in greenhouses, contributing significantly to agriculture. As I said, it's not only about power, it's also about tourism, health, and agriculture. And our previous Minister of Agriculture is also here joining me. I mean, we've been working on development-related issues for many years. Agriculture, I say, is a strategic sector. It's not to be old-fashioned. Food and agriculture and food are valuable, and that value will not diminish, but otherwise it will increase. I mean, sometimes, even if you have the money, you cannot access certain areas. Agriculture and food is one of those, two of those areas. That's what makes these areas valuable. Using geothermal in these areas will also translate into sustainability in agriculture to increase security and safety, digitalization, smart applications, for example. I mean, all these issues are critical for agriculture. And geothermal will support that. And geothermal resources today in Turkey are heating up 160,000 residential equivalents of buildings and 10,000 acres of agricultural areas. Okay, tourism, health, agriculture, energy, and geothermal, and a holistic approach that I just touched about. That's what we need, I said. So Nevşehir is going to be a pilot province. I think you're starting taking the steps in that direction, eh? Also, we talk about mines and minerals, waters, drinking waters, are all other aspects for improved and increased added value. Thermal tourism, we have 53 thermal tourism facilities, 4 cultural, natural protection and improvement zones, and its infrastructures are improving every day. And we are building on that. Today in Turkey, 23 million people visit 520 plus spas, hot spas or thermal spas every day. So the number of these thermal facilities are increasing, and Turkey is gaining significant experiences, not to mention Turkey has become a third country globally in the global ranking in terms of geothermal facilities. And Ömer always tells me about geothermal investors, but I would like to emphasize this as well. We have to generate or create a synergistic approach between all these fields. You have health tourism, and tourism. We have to work these areas out holistically, and geothermal is one of the strongest chains, links of this chain. If you could just join tourism and health hand in hand, then we will be able to create much more value added in all these sectors. Yeah, that's another important issue, according to me. So as we are approaching in on 2030, the third decade, geothermal tourism, there are estimations, and the share that Turkey gets from global geothermal resources should be bigger, even bigger. So the importance of linking all these areas, health, tourism, agriculture, and everything, if you could just link them together strongly and create that, tap into that value added, then, wow, it's going to be great. And also thermal tourism is also critical in terms of regional development. Inclusive development emerges now. Inclusive development. It's not just about metropolitan areas that are the engines of national development. No. Each and every region, each and every province has a potential which needs to be agitated, if you like, triggered, so that more comprehensive mobilization of development nationwide can be triggered. Thermal tourism is also another of those triggers that would translate into local, very local development. Tourism, Turkey's apple of Turkey's eye, let's say. Yeah, Oya, you are here also. You will talk about tourism. I guess you deal with tourism investments. Anyway, last year, $61 billion threshold was exceeded, and 62 million tourists, I think, came to visit Turkey. But more important than these numbers, the value per overnight stay has also increased, which means that Turkey's tapping into better incomes and creating more value added for each night of stay, which also is a significant contributor to reducing the current deficit. In the future, again, although we expect some increase in numbers, but more importantly than increased numbers, and we need to improve our quality to bring in more value added per night, per tourist. I don't know, you know about the matrix of that. So the value added per night should be increased, and that should be the kind of perspective, the strategic perspective we need to have. Turkey, I think, ranks the fourth. Should rank in the first three nations in tourism, which requires development, which requires employment, and this is critical also. Tourism is a critical player. So we will discuss these issues from wider perspectives in other platforms. Distinguished guests, the Turkey's MTP, midterm program, focuses on agriculture and use of geothermal resources in agriculture wherever the geothermal resources are available. We are also supporting and speeding up investments in establishment of greenhouses in close proximity of geothermal areas, just like the governor before me told you. So, in order to be able to tap into the opportunities, geothermal opportunities, to improve investment and environment and to multiply the impact and to make it more visible, to leverage impact, we need to work more. Geothermal is a silent power, but when it is beefed up with the right strategies and policies, and I don't believe Turkey has no choice than become a global, if not a regional leader. Today we are ranking the first and fourth globally, of course, in terms of geothermal facilities, and also Turkey has to achieve the goal of becoming a geothermal leader of the world, and that potential is there, and it's obvious, it's evident that Turkey can do it. Power, tourism, agriculture, health, industry, all these sectors, we must embrace this integrated vision, this holistic approach to beef up national technologies. And also we must shake hands and work together with other nations, geothermal nations. I mean, we have foreign friends here, so international cooperation is also another key issue. I mean, to learn and to what I mean by shaking hands is to create partnerships. So, and we should not forget about an international or a global perspective as well. Supporting projects by local administrations, we are also supporting our administrators for better and efficient use of agriculture, not to mention heating capabilities, etc. And these are all significant steps. And Turkey has the potential to do that at the regional level, at the local level, at the micro level as well, which we must do. But we need to keep all players, local administrations, academia, the government, and the private sector, the public sector, everybody should lend a hand with a holistic perspective, without forgetting about the mainframe. And we should set the mainframe ourselves, and I believe we could do that. All these processes will be done so smoothly. So I invite you here, all these players, all these stakeholders, let's get together, work together, think together, plan together, and implement together. Yeah. Let's strengthen our international cooperative efforts. Let's not forget our global friends who are knowledgeable already about these. Let's develop further collaborations. Let's look into the future using novel technologies covering AI, digitalization, green transformation, Let's stick to our technology agenda, to our green agenda, which will help us to link all these efforts for a better future, for a stronger future of our nation. So, once again, with all these feelings in my heart, I mean, with my hat, not your hat, Ömer, you have a lot of hats, I know, but as the head of this association, I'd like to thank you for organizing. I mean, we appreciate your work you do for your nation, you do for your sector. So I thank you now, while you have your chairman hat on. Thank you for sponsoring this event also, and everyone who had a hand in the organization of this event. I'd like to extend my gratitude for participating to this event. Local guests as well as foreign guests, thank you for not leaving us. And Nevşehir, Governor of Nevşehir, MPs and local administrators, thank you for hosting us and hosting this event, this beautiful event. So have a good day, all of you. Thank you, Vice President of the nation, Cevdet Yilmaz, but please bear with me for an extra moment on the floor.
Eşsiz bir doğa.
Yes, we are actually very delighted to present a meaningful gift, an obsidian stone, a unique natural treasure of our region formed in the depths of Cappadocia thousands of years ago. We now invite Mr. Ömer Tosun, Chairman of Cemiyet, to the stage. With your kind permission, allow us to share a few words about the stone, obsidian stone. Ömer Bey actually is presenting stone to Cevdet Yilmaz. This obsidian stone you are holding was formed millions of years ago when magma from deep within Cappadocia rapidly cooled and vitrified upon reaching the surface. This unique stone, shaped by heat and time, it's a reflection of subterranean power, just like geothermal energy. Thousands years ago, obsidian was used to make tools and weapons and was a key trade commodity. Today, it's presented to you as a symbol, as a souvenir of the energy emerging from the Earth's depths. Now, honorable members of the protocol, you are all kindly invited to the stage for family photo. Thank you so much for your attendance and for your contributions. We express our deep gratitude to the Vice President for accepting this meaningful gift and honoring us with his presence. We would like to give a big hand for his valuable contribution to our summit. We are taking 10 minutes break for our